Hello, David Buggy here. This is the Inquiry Works February 2016 update. I'd like to give you a quick update on how some of the projects are running and also a more general update on other things myself, Lucy, and Malcolm have been involved in February and what we're looking forward to in March. So, to get started, of the four projects, the first one I'll talk about is the BP North Sea oil contract. Um, that's a project between Siemens and BP that's really led by Roland Hollington in Siemens and by his counterpart Joe Lammers in BP. Both Joe and Roland are engaged. We've sat down with both of them in Aberdeen, had some good discussions. I think they understand the nature of the change program we can offer and support them with. They're both, I think, interested and are taking ownership for the project. The project is moving slowly, and the next step is really to get in a room with the larger organisation in Siemens and BP involved in the project, and that's taken quite a while. Probably related on the BP side to reorganisation and restructure some significant amount of layoffs that BP are making, so that's impacting all elements of what they're doing really based in Aberdeen, and is slowing things down. But we do hope to get that really meeting together in March where we have a wider group and we design some experiments for change. The next project to mention is the Service Wind Power organisation. We're supporting them with some safety-based activity, safety-based change activity. We have really tried to engage with the senior management in Safety Wind Power in Newcastle, Angela Barker, Stephen Dean, Grant Walker, and they are all open to this work. Although they are also very busy and are struggling to find time to really take ownership for it. Therefore, we have engaged directly the local site management and project management or people. That's Nick Davis and Lee Smith. I've been to Gwinty Moor, sat down with them, explained what we could offer, what we could do together, and they are interested and excited and are taking hold of this and moving it on. We will need at some point to circle back with the Newcastle management, because the idea is what we do at Gwinty Moor tells us about the nature of the organisation and the nature of how the organisation can change. So it's important for wind power, service wind power, that they are involved and engaged in that at a senior level as well. The third project I'll talk about is the customer witness test in Lincoln in the small gas turbine business. Adrian Toyne is leading that work and has real ownership for it and is interested and engaged. More recently, Mark Speed has been appointed into that business, and we've engaged Mark as well during February in the work at Lincoln. Some of the experiments that have been developed at Lincoln, which were kind of developed at the end of last year, are quite process and system orientated, and they're the ones that are struggling to make progress. I think what we are offering is a change based methodology that probably works best in a human relationship type way. So we've been at Lincoln, we've met with the experiment owners, and I think we need to go back there and adapt some of the experiments and stay close to them and see what we can do to support the folks there. There's also a fairly significant reorganization being discussed for the testing group, and we'll probably support Adrian to some extent in how that change is designed and integrated into the organisation. The final project I'll talk about is the EHS team transformation. So Ken Anderson has taken ownership for that project. Ken would like to bring the different EHS managers, EHS heads in the BUs in PG and PS together in a more collaborative way. And also, I suppose, to help co-create what their future might look like and the future role of EHS within PG and PS in the UK. And Ireland actually. Anya Higgins probably will be involved in that work as well. So I suppose what we are really offering Ken there is to create a context and container for holding a different type of conversation between the people involved. that is more creative, and allows them to take more ownership of what the future might look like, which will involve Ken giving up some control and not being as directive, and also put some responsibility on the others to take more ownership and responsibility for the outcomes. So I think we can use some of our skills around helping design conversations and design meetings that are more effective and more authentic, in that space. So that's really an update on the 4 running projects. The other things worth mentioning from February are that myself and Lucy Allard, spent a day in Ashridge. We spent a day with some of the academic folks that have developed a course called Leadership Encounters that people from Siemens will go on in March. And we were really putting a Siemens spin or Siemens flavor on the design of that course. So it will be interesting to pick up with some of the folks who've been on the course in March to hear how it went, what they thought of it, and if it's worthwhile doing potentially again in the future. In February, we also had a strategic review meeting, and Carl Ennis and his team together with us. And it was a really good meeting, building on the good meeting we had in December. That team is becoming more capable, better integrated, better able to have really good conversations, to get to the heart of things, to communicate well together. We turned the meeting a little bit more over this time to business related issues. So we spent quite a bit of time talking about talent and talent development within the organization. We also spent some time on a compliance topic, but we tried to have a discussion in a different way. And I suppose the overall context was the nature of meetings. And Malcolm produced some material that was handed out after the meeting to help people think about the way meetings are held within the organization. The last couple of things to really mention: we are still in contact and are developing increasingly better contacts with the Global PG Behavioural Change Project, led by Willie Meixner and supported also by Ashridge. And we met with Simon Smith, who works for Distributed Generation, part of PG, but he's based in the UK, responsible for a global strategic procurement department. He was part of the Global PG program, and we've been in contact with him now, and potentially we could do some work with him in terms of changing his organization. So that would be an interesting overlap between the work we're doing in the UK and the PG Global work. We're also planning to go in, I think, April to Amsterdam for a couple of days, myself and Lucy, to meet with the global team and share our experiences and what we've learned about change, and also how we can share better resources and learning with the global team in the future. Then the last thing to mention is that we recognise for a few months now that part of the work we do is around communicating what we're learning, and communicating the change that's going on in the organisation. And we haven't really had a plan to do that until now. So we're going to use we're going to use Rosemary Etherton for some support to create some stories that we can then communicate through various channels within Siemens. So Rosemary, with the support of the communications team within Siemens and ourselves, we're going to do some work on that in March. So that's really it. That's the update for February, and talk to you soon. Bye.